All set. So, all right, we are checking out A Plate to Remember as submitted by Sangi, who is joining me on the call right now. Hello there.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And can you talk a little bit about your background in game development and your role on this project?
Certainly, starting from my background in game development, I'm very much interested in games for many, many years now. And I've been trying since I was a teenager to make games.
Mm-hmm.
It it clicked sort of, so to say, about 2 years ago. But I've been trying to make some text-based games, I think like 15 years ago already. So,
Wow.
about a year ago, I started
Mm-hmm.
participating in game jams. The first one was the Vim Jam 2,
Oh yeah.
for which I did almost solo with the with small support from a friend who does music, and he basically came in rescuing me 3 hours before the end of the jam with some basic sounds and background music, which was cool from him. And then my role on this project, I participated with two of my friends. One of them made the models, and the other one helped a little bit with sound and made the landing page. Everything else, laying stuff out, programming, and animating is done on my part. And the design as well was mostly my idea.
So I realize that you called this A Plate to Remember because it literally involves memorization, right?
Yeah, it. I have to admit, I at some point thought, okay, this needs a name, and this was the thing that came to mind. So I just wrote it on top in the UI, and it stayed because we never got to getting a better name, and it's kind of fitting.
Yeah. I think that at this point, I'm just like, I'm going to show the game being played. I'm not going to be making an effort to remember things because that is going to just completely throw me off being able to listen to what you're saying.
I was
So,
initially thinking, hey, let's play around together, but the delay on the stream would make it super unwatchable. So
yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, it is just a little bit too long of a delay there. But anyway, people can try the game out for themselves via the link that I shared there. So yeah, I guess we'll move into our second question then. So, what was the actual inspiration behind this game?
Uh, I'll answer it a little bit differently. The main motivation was to make something simple,
Mm-hmm.
make as many as little moving components as possible, because that was my downfall in prior game jams. The inspiration was partially Russian roulette, which many people will know what it is, and combined with that, I wanted something that well challenges your memory, because Russian roulette is completely random,
Mm-hmm.
and this is introducing a little bit of chaos. Chaos is very good when people are into a game. Chaos can generate a lot of fun. And then, yeah, did this. Did, it was a mixture of Russian roulette and let's make something simple, and let's make something based on memory, because I think that would be cool. Because then there is a lot that the player needs to add by himself or by
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and things that they remember or not remember can lead to interesting moments without me having to code as much gameplay as another type of game would. As, for example, let's take, I don't know, an RPG where you go through rooms. There would be a
Mm-hmm.
lot more small things for the player. Like RPG games need to be immersive and need
Mm-hmm.
to put a lot more work into being immersive. Another inspiration slash constraint was that it's a fixed screen, so
Mm-hmm.
that we don't need to deal with moving, generating a lot of landscape, etc. For more than half of the game jam, these were just a couple of cubes that I've put together,
Mm-hmm.
and then over time, like there was like a cylinder which was very flat, that was the plate, and the tray, and it was spinning, so it was good, and I was coding other things in.
Yeah, so how did you actually decide on it being like sushi? Is that just because of like fugu, like the like deadly if it's eaten if it's
No,
prepared wrong?
no, I actually don't eat sushi. I I guess I just had a like theme, a feel in mind, something oriental, and sushi would fit this, and it's in small portions and can fit on a plate.
Yeah, I think that works quite well. I mean, I like to have sushi occasionally, but it's not it's very cheap. So it's basically like whenever my grandparents feel like treating me to lunch.
Let's say you don't want to eat it if it's cheap. It's my guess.
Oh no, it's very true. Yeah, like you don't want to eat cheap
I,
sushi. I tried one time. I got like a discount coupon with like Uber Eats, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't had sushi for the entire pandemic. I'll try that. And it was like, oh, I can get this sushi, which is really expensive, or I can get more sushi with this one that's cheap. Don't go for the cheap sushi. It didn't taste great. I had to drown it in soy sauce so that it would
let's
taste any
say
good.
if it ended with just bad taste, that's good enough.
Yeah, like I didn't
If
get
you
food poisoning.
if you get low quality raw fish, things can happen.
Yeah, yeah, no. It just wasn't tasty. Like that's the worst I can say. All right. So, yeah, I guess so. You already started talking a little bit about the development process there, but like, when did you actually like at what point of the development did you actually get to like adding the texturing and the modeling and everything for the
Oh,
actual sushi?
so the thing is, because I knew that visuals are one of the challenges, and because of how the game works, I could say everything that is needed in the beginning. I made a
Hmm.
small PowerPoint in the first 30 minutes, and that told to my friend, all right, this I need, this I need, this I need, this I need, this I need. And to the other guy for sounds, I need this sound, this sound, this sound, this sound,
Hmm.
and off they go. And it just was coming in while we were at it. And one rule I always I
Hmm.
encourage, but I'm mostly leading teams, so which I encourage everyone is to fail fast. Like, get me
Yes.
anything that will be remotely okay, and then worry about it once we have the whole loop finished. So just give me one piece of sushi so I can test with it. Just give me one bottle, and texture it later. I will work with it. Just give me the tray with anything, just the layout that I showed you, and you can then refine it. And the plate didn't get as much love. Some things got more love. The sushi looks good. So it just kept coming and didn't matter for me as long as it just replaced the prefabs that I've created.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good approach that works no matter whether you are working on a game jam or whether you're working on a long-term project. That like fail faster idea is very good.
Yeah, and of course
So,
Git. Everyone who does game just with me has to use Git because, well, because we don't need to worry about some files on some folder and who does what. And if I say test that, they don't need to check. They just pull and compile, and that's it.
mhm. So how is the AI? Oh no, I died from the poison again.
Well, sort of the
um,
idea. Either you or the AI, right?
yeah, I mean the so the AI theoretically could have a perfect memory of this. So how do you account for that?
The AI cheats, basically.
Right.
The AI knows exactly which one is which, and it goes through a list which one is poisoned, which one is not. If there
Yeah.
is a not poisoned one, it picks this one. If there is some variety of poisons, it chooses the least poisonous one. But it's not tactical, it always rolls the dice.
Hmm.
So you can make decisions that will make it do bad choices.
So I guess I should be rolling the dice more often, but I usually have just been like eating the sushi. So what are the outcomes of actually rolling the dice?
There are a couple of outcomes. The first one is that you just spin the plate
Hmm.
and then eat the sushi. The second one is that a random piece of sushi appears on the plate.
Hmm.
The third one is that you get a random bottle to apply to a sushi. And the last one is that you get to eat a sushi without rolling the plate at all,
Okay.
without spinning the plate. And this was actually a very different design in the beginning.
Hmm. Yeah, so I guess the way to force the AI to eat something is um
So the thing you could
hmm,
let's pick this example. You know that there is slow poison antidote and let's say regular sushi on the floor. You could
yeah.
eat the slow poison,
Hmm.
hope that the AI will eat the unpoisoned sushi and then eat
Hmm.
the antidote, because then it's the AI's turn and it probably just eat another thing and die of it.
I see. Okay, wow. So yeah, because that's what I thought is that you are basically just playing with a perfect AI. And I was
Having
wondering if
said
you.
that, it does something weird in memory. I was debugging it. I couldn't really figure out what it's doing, but it wasn't
Mhm.
doing stupid stuff most of the time, so I just left it.
Okay. Well, it's kind of for the best. Like if there's ever a bug in the AI that makes it slightly easier in the player's favor, that's not a bad thing.
Exactly. And it was the last 4 hours of the jam I had to do the AI
Yeah, yeah,
again. So,
yeah.
because actually this game is mostly intended for 2 players, but
Yes.
because of how game jam reviews work and that you're usually sitting alone and doing it alone, it
Yeah, it's
had to
true.
have some sort of playing alone.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good call. Like, as much as this does seem like a fun thing to play with other people, and I hope that I don't know, has anyone left a comment saying that they've played with someone else?
Yes, there was one person who let's say one account that says that they played it together and they had a blast.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you get to see more of that.
This is actually
Um,
one of the few games I
yeah.
intend to put a little bit more in, because half of the sounds you don't hear because they are either not working or they are not working well enough.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
reason for that being I did it in the last 20 minutes.
Sure.
Uh, but I think there's potential. And one other thing I need to add is a kid mode, because
Hmm.
my 2-year-old daughter simply loves just spinning sushi and eating all of them. So I need to add back my debug keys where you can just click and eat all the sushi and fill the plate up and spin it, because she really likes it.
Yeah, I think that's it is funny how often you can reduce a game to essentially being a toy like that. By the way, is it possible to like overwrite the poison on something with an antidote?
No, this is something that should have been put more clearly in the instructions,
Hmm.
which I didn't do. I didn't do the instructions. Uh, if and there was a very clear sound when you try to apply a a bottle to already poisoned sushi, because then your action gets negated. So say you've put a deadly poison on a sushi, and then you want to put a different poison on it. It just rejects your action and the bottle goes back. Reason for it being, I didn't want to go through the headache of figuring out what to do when you have all of the sushis poisoned.
Hmm.
Because and also it's a mechanic. Say you have two pieces left, no, three, like two pieces left, and you don't want for some reason to poison one of the sushis, so
Hmm.
you just apply it to something you remember already being poisoned, and therefore you, well, then the other guy has to eat it. The
Yeah.
example didn't make any sense, but there is this element. You get a bottle, and applying a new poison to a new sushi would screw you, so you just remember which one was poisoned, and you negate this action by remembering which one was which.
Yeah, exactly. No, it does make sense. And I think it's interesting how you have like the perfect amount of variety here with only two pieces of sushi. The fact that, or sorry, three pieces of sushi. Um, because like if it was any more than this, then it would be easy to remember, like, oh, okay, that's the one that's poisoned. But if it was too few, then it would be too hard to remember. So
It would look bad.
yeah,
The rule of threes is awesome. It has so many applications.
nice. Yeah, I think so that's a it works out well because it means not having to like um
If you don't know how much of something you need, you either
mhm.
need 1, 3, or 10.
That's fantastic. I love that. Do you have anything else that I guess we'll just sort of jump off of that, and if you talk about any other clever hacks or shortcuts, like game design wise or development wise, anything else that you implemented when you were making this game,
We're making this game.
or not, or
Uh,
just like in development in general.
So in general, the first hack is to fail fast. I cannot
Yeah.
understate it how important it is. What it
Hmm.
means that when you want to test something, you just make a cube and let the cube roll off the cliff. Or if you have a sound composer, I have a great friend who does music,
Hmm.
but he sometimes spends half the time making the first soundtrack. And
Hmm.
what I taught him to do is, all right, we have this list of sounds, just make anything, and then once everything is there, then you go back and fix each one of them up, which
Hmm.
sadly meant that for the platformer he just added computer generated voice to everything. So each time you took a step, you heard step, 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 or even jump, jump, double jump,
Oh
jump,
my
double
god.
jump. There was a motivation to, to fix it, but we had all sounds in the library. Then me not
Yeah.
implementing them in time was another thing, but that's not his fault. So fail fast and make really, really crude prototypes, because chances are this will be the best you have, because if you wouldn't, you won't have it. And on the other thing, you have a motivation to really not let the player listen to step, 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 step each time they
Hmm.
hold the mouse button for longer than half a second. So this is the most important. Other one, learn some quality of life technologies. Get Git, get good with Git, or at
Hmm.
least get a little bit good with Git. If not Git, then something else, sure, but make your life easier. The thing is, the easier something is, the more probable it is that you're gonna use it and save time with that. Even though if you think, hey, it's gonna work great, we're gonna just exchange things through a Google folder or something. If you make your life easier, you're gonna do it better,
Hmm.
because easier, not only when having fun but also in work, easier translates to more probable and more of news. And when I
Hmm.
say it in like business meetings, hey, it's really hard to get this data or really hard to get this report, let's make it easier to access. People say, no, but you can do it. You just need to go there, then select this option, then go through this script and find this. Yeah, sure, cool. But make it something you can view in 3 clicks.
Hmm.
And that can save money, real big amounts of money, especially if it's too
Absolutely.
tiresome to check something in a log and
Hmm.
it gets not viewed, and then the business user comes and say, hey, why is this not here? We need it ASAP. And then
Hmm.
everything goes off the rails. So make things easy. And same goes actually for games.
Hmm.
The easier it is for a player to do something, like here in the menu, you have just player one start, and
Yeah.
that's it. A mistake I did is I
Mm.
put renaming the player in options. Uh, Often no one bothers. So
Oh, here, I see.
make things easier. And another, I don't know if it was from Mark Brown or some other creator that advised on how to test your games. If you have a user,
Hmm.
or if it's someone who's kind enough to test the game for you,
Hmm.
just sit and watch. Don't say anything,
Yeah.
don't make a sound, because if they can figure stuff out without you,
Hmm.
then it's actually intuitive. That's what I also sometimes do when I go to other streams for people to play the game. I try not to give too much advice,
Hmm.
because if they can figure it on their own, and for this game they mostly were able, with
Hmm.
the exception of the poison. And let's face it, streamers often look at chat, and then they look at chat, the
Hmm.
computer applies deadly poison, and hey, why did I know where the poison was? And something. Or like,
Yeah.
it didn't show anything. Yeah, it did. It blinked blue, but you didn't watch. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. It is insanely frustrating when someone like doesn't.
doesn't get it, but it's your
Yeah.
fault, not his, most of the
Uh,
time.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, like there are those streamers out there who, as you said, like they will go through that exact situation. This is why every time before I start an interview, I always read the HIO page, because I figure if there's anything important in there, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to look like an idiot. When it's like, oh, it said like on my game, right? Like the HTML version doesn't work. So it's like, please, for the love of God, read the description and realize that you have to download it, otherwise it'll crash. I don't want to
And
do that to someone else. I don't want to misrepresent their game.
sure, but to sum up, the advice is, if you have someone playtesting,
Hmm.
let them playtest,
Yeah, yeah,
because then you're just gonna get more data. Sure,
Yep.
you're not gonna get the instant reward of someone getting your game faster,
Hmm.
but in the long term, get.
Yeah.
So these were the tricks. Let them playtest, fail fast, get good with Git, and make things easier.
Mhm.
And the rule of threes.
Yeah.
Really, the rule of threes is awesome. If you need to decide on something and don't know, give yourself 3 minutes. If it's
Hmm.
important, give yourself 3 days. The rule of three is awesome. What else game dev wise? And I think the most important thing game dev wise is practice.
Hmm.
Try things, participate in game jams. Game jams, I mean, I think the audience here knows it mostly because we are game creators. But if anyone else who's not creating games listens, you do not need a PhD in computer graphics to make a game. You don't know
Hmm.
how to draw? Cool, make it text based, or make it based on simpler shapes, or actually get a copy of Sprite and write some crude and draw some crude things. The first game jam I participated in, I had 2 guys saying, "Yeah, sure, I do the art," and after a day, they were gone and not answering anything. So I did the art for it myself.
Mm.
It was not beautiful, but actually, I could get something decently looking done. And I'm not an
Hmm.
artist, I'm by no stretch. So try things. And the very cool thing about game jams is, if you fail, there's no one sitting and waiting to chop your head off if you don't get it finished.
Hmm.
There's no like this regrets that, oh, I had to do it. The jam is over. Fine, nobody cares. It's over. You don't even need to look at this game jam. When my story with LD50, the game didn't go out and we just left it, and that was it. Yeah. Hold on for just one
Oh yeah,
moment.
no problem. But yeah,
Sorry,
I think. Oh
I'm
yeah,
back.
it's all good.
So yeah, test, try things, and if you fail, that's another thing. If you fail either by not completing the game in a game jam, or if you have something that you didn't implement, or if it's something that works wrong, more often than not, if you don't say it was a mistake, no one will notice.
Yeah, it's very true.
So yeah.
You know, you're the one who had the vision of how the game was supposed to be in your own head, so you
Yes.
know how it differs from that. But most people just, it's like, oh, they don't know whether it's a bug or a feature.
Yeah, or they simply don't notice it at all.
Hmm.
Again, to the playtesters don't notice things that you want them to notice. Chances are they're not gonna notice the thing that's missing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, you kind of mentioned that you wanted to add like a kid mode to the game, but was there anything else that you wanted to change in a post-jam version?
Yeah, most of the sounds that were supposed to be there and weren't there.
Hmm.
Maybe an animation for the bottle to actually dip over the sushi that it's being applied to, because it's important to accentuate what goes where. Right now
Hmm.
you have just a color indication. From there, maybe improve the AI. I just want to make it feel more polished, maybe bug my friend a little bit to make the tray better and add some things. You can see to the side a piece of paper, right?
Hmm.
You see a
Yeah,
skull on
the
there.
top right corner.
That is actually something that was supposed to be in, believe it or
Hmm.
not. It was supposed to be an instruction what which roles meant. But first of all, the rules changed and he didn't get the time to change it. And second of all, it was an additional piece of logic to make the card come in front of your screen and then get back when you go somewhere else. So I just said, don't touch it, leave it. You can see what's on it anyway. It just looks like a piece of decor. I
Hmm.
bet you didn't notice it's an unfinished feature.
You know what? Very specifically, I saw that skull and I was like, I bet that used to be like an instruction manual. Like I did predict that, but it's like I think the average person would just think of it as decoration. Like just because I see a skull here and I see like maybe a little plus or an arrow or something, I'm like, oh, I bet that's
That's
like a
a
little
plus.
guide. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's explaining what the dice rolls do. And I think that having that added in to the game, just to get a better understanding. Like, it doesn't matter so much where the consequences are because the game is going to tell me the results of the die roll.
That's another thing I
Um,
told the artist. Really, dude, don't worry about it. The game is gonna serve to them anyway what happens.
Yeah.
It was something nice to have. I really wanted it, but on the other hand, it didn't matter. We had to prioritize other things that actually would matter, like get some things into the plate, because the glass of, I think, milk and the green stuff was not there until like the last few hours, because I had dropped the instructions, get
Hmm.
a little bit of visual things going in the plate itself, and then it's going to be fine. The
Yeah.
bottles had to have different inscription as well, but as soon as I saw them, I thought, okay, doesn't matter, they're color coded anyway. If we get to fix it, we get to fix it. If not, then nobody's gonna care that it's something that was not supposed to be there.
Hmm.
Funnily enough, I did a PowerPoint mock-up of how the things should look, and I just typed some random symbols under each bottle and said, this is going to do this and this. And he actually took them onto the bottle, which I didn't consider. I could have spent 5 seconds more on writing the mock-up so that there's actually something indicating what's inside, but I didn't, and it went to the game. And uh, I bet you could have thought that was the design as well. And because these are sort of symbols, it has to be
Hmm.
oriental, so symbols are not that unheard of. And yeah, so again, here's the things. You made an error. Don't mention it. Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Most of the time, nobody will notice or care for that matter.
Yeah. Man, so we're dealing with a plate that is just fully poisoned here.
Ah, that's the way of this game. Another very, very important piece of design was that you apply the deadly poison at the beginning, which
Yeah.
means you can never end up with an empty plate. Someone's
Hmm.
gotta die.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, all right. Well, if anyone has any questions in chat, I think now's the time to get those in. But otherwise, do you have any other projects that you want people to check out, or any other social media channels you want to plug?
Well, I will be streaming the last evening of games for GMTK Jam. I only stream for game jams
Hmm.
because I don't have really much content to stream else otherwise. And I'm working on something right now, but it's not game related. It's a business idea, so
Okay.
it's a little way off, so I don't want to go about it too much.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
if I can leave people with something that I think is important, is to embrace creativity as much as possible, because creativity is actually healthy and gets you to, like, it just makes you accomplished in some sort of sense. And with the way that our culture is now, that is so much based on consumption, consuming endless content. It's better to be on the other side of the content wall. It's better to create it. It's healthier than to have this compulsory cycle of short short term short term boost of gratification, that you found something funny, etc. And I think it makes us more less able to concentrate, more like twitchy, more easily angered. So yeah, embrace creativity.
Yeah, I think that is fantastic words to live by. Like, I definitely consider myself to be an artist. Like, I express my art through game development, um, and whether that means creating sprites, writing dialogue for characters, just the design of an experience in general. I think that there are innumerable ways that you can choose to express yourself. It doesn't have to be in games, but games are fun because they let you do a little bit of everything. So
I would be
yeah,
careful with
absolutely.
that.
Okay,
Games
sorry.
are fun. No, games are fun. Games are great, but games are an art and are actually really difficult because you need to combine a lot of concepts. I
Yes.
can't count how many years I was not really getting into it because I don't know how to draw. I don't know how
Hmm.
to model. I don't know how to this or that. It's a mixture of things. That's why I said no. That's why I didn't say make games. I said
Hmm.
embrace creativity,
Yes.
create something. It can be a board game. It can be a cool, if you like coding, it can be a cool simulation that does something. My first finished game was actually my master's thesis that I did on
Hmm.
AI, and I had to make a game for it. So I made a game where a thief was wandering on a graph of cities connected with roads, and it was actually a combination of two mathematical problems.
Hmm.
One is the packing problem. The other was the traveling salesman problem. So you had
Mhm.
to fill up your bag with the most valuable goods from each city,
Mhm.
while going somewhere would cost you money. Your pack has a limited capacity and
Mhm.
each thing weighs. So you had to find the optimal way through the best deals, so to say, that your traveling thief would, well, get the most points.
Yeah, wow. That I can imagine that getting very computationally complex really quickly. So I were you using like specifically small numbers that people could like tally in their heads?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I got a
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
call
of
that I need
course.
to run, but
Oh,
I'll
okay.
stick 1 minute.
Yes, you do need to get going, but you know what? I was just saying, like, did you simplify it to make the math easy for people to do, or was it part of the challenge?
No, no, there was
Okay.
no math in the problem itself. It's just a
Oh,
backpack and
okay.
a graph with cities, and need to find a way. The math to solve it
Hmm.
is actually NP computational
Yeah,
scaling, which means you cannot brute force it because
yeah,
it scales with squares. And these are problems, very real ones, for which
yeah.
there is no analytical solution.
Hmm.
So the topic was to get to come up with an AI that is being like learns and adapts itself to the level of user, because I wanted to prove that you can make a worthy user for a game where just brute forcing the solution, applying a formula that adjusts the score to user is not possible, and I
Hmm.
partially succeeded on it.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. If you end up participating in another game jam, I would love to have another conversation like this one, or even just any projects you're working on in general. I won't keep you because I know you got to get going, but thank you. I think this was a fantastic discussion, and I look forward to when we can talk next.
Thanks. I will definitely check your stream out once I get. I think LD51 will be definitely one. I don't know if something sooner.
All right, sounds good. Bye for now.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice one. Bye.
Absolutely.